After having the #1 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Magic started last season with a 5-20 record. They finished 34-48 and they were the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference. You fast forward just one season ahead, and the Orlando Magic now have an 11-5 record. They're on a 6-game win streak and they've beaten 3 of the best teams in the NBA so far during this win streak. And the Orlando Magic have not gotten off to just a great start to this season. The Orlando Magic have officially arrived. Now, before we go ahead and get into today's video, if you guys please could, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Orlando Magic content that we do here on YouTube, and make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me, Brett James, and Orlando Magic HQ on all of our socials, especially on Twitter. We're both very active and we're on there every single day. But Magic fans, let's actually go ahead and talk about what this Orlando Magic team has done so far. Now, the Magic currently sit with a record of 11-5. They are 3-1 in Eastern Conference Group C play, and the Magic have been sensational to begin this season. Let's talk about this 6-game win streak that the Magic are currently on. I'm going to put the graphic up on the screen for you guys to see, and a big shout out to the Magic Report for this graphic. The Magic last week, 2 wins in Chicago on the road, 96-94 and 103-97. They go on to take down the #1 offense at the time in the Indiana Pacers. They beat the Pacers 128-116. They come back home. They beat the Toronto Raptors 126-107. And now this is where the Magic really made some noise and asserted themselves as one of the best teams in the NBA so far this season. They beat the Denver Nuggets, the reigning and defending champions, 124-119, and they followed that up with an impressive 113-96 victory over the Boston Celtics last night. Now, the calling card and the backbone of this Orlando Magic team all season has been on the defensive side of the ball. Head coach of the Magic, Jamal Mosley, has addressed it from the time training camp has begun to this very moment. Defense and everyone buying into a defensive philosophy is what is going to make this Orlando Magic team so great. It's not just Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac who've been the catalyst for why this Magic defense has been so superb. It has been a collective and total team effort. And what makes this run and the start to this season that much more impressive is the fact that Orlando is doing this all without 2 of their key starters in both Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter Jr. When you talk about the defensive identity and what this defense is doing, this Orlando Magic team is #1 in defensive rating with a 106.8 defensive rating, and it is led by Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac. Jalen Suggs, who got the starting nod at the 2 position this season, has asserted himself as one of the best 3-and-D defenders in the league. He's going to take that primary responsibility of guarding the primary ball handler on opposing teams. He brings the energy, the intensity, and he's the heart and soul of this team so far, consistently making Amway Center a rowdy and ruckus environment, hyping the crowd up, and he brings that energy and intensity on a night in and night out basis. And a guy like Jonathan Isaac, a guy who has struggled to stay healthy since coming into the league back in 2017, Jonathan Isaac, when healthy, is one of the best and most versatile defenders in the game of basketball, a guy who can switch 1 through 5 and absolutely wreak havoc on anybody that he's guarding. And Jonathan Isaac does just that, and he has been sensational this season, coming in off that second unit, really easing him back into a full workload. And Jonathan Isaac has been a stellar defender so far this season. Those 2 guys have been the catalyst for why this Orlando Magic defense has been spectacular so far this season. Another reason the Orlando Magic have arrived before our very eyes and this team has been so sensational, it's because of the depth of this team. You've got 4 or 5 players on the Orlando Magic's bench that could potentially be starting on 30 other NBA teams. When you talk about a guy like Cole Anthony, who's embraced that role as a 6-man, as a bucket getter, a guy to really ignite that second unit, Cole Anthony is one of the best bucket getters in the association. He's going to be a 6-man of the year candidate. He could go start on a handful of teams in the NBA. You talk about Mo Wagner, who led all scorers last night in the huge win over the Boston Celtics. He scored 27 points, and he has been phenomenal this season. You look at other guys like Gary Harris, who's a very capable veteran, 3-and-D guy, a guy who can space the floor. he could go start on a lot of teams. Jonathan Isaac could very well make a case for starting on this Orlando Magic team, and Jonathan Isaac has been stellar in the minutes, in the opportunities that he has been given. Orlando's bench this season is currently number 2 in the NBA in total points per game at 45.8 bench points per game. Head coach of the Orlando Magic, Jamal Mosley, addresses it all the time. When you talk about coaching, preparation, and guys buying in, it's not a demotion going from the starting 5 to the bench. When everybody embraces the role and cares about winning, that is why these guys have been spectacular. You've got guys that have a lot of chemistry, continuity, and these guys enjoy playing with each other, and they buy into the system. They buy into what Coach Mosley and this coaching staff preaches to them, and it's showing on the court, coming off the bench. One of the best bench units in the entire association. Coach, you briefly mentioned it in terms of the preparation and the belief that you have in guys like Mo and Caleb kind of getting thrusted into those big-time minutes. But could you talk about the preparation that they have and the belief that you have in the coaching staff when it comes to those guys in the second unit?
Our coaching staff is phenomenal. I think they do an incredible job of keeping the game plan simple because it allows our guys to just play with their instincts and their intuition. And it is so great to see that happen. And then I can't say enough about the coaches. They're doing a phenomenal job, and our coaches and the players trust them.
And another reason why this Orlando Magic team has arrived before our very eyes is because of their 2 young budding stars in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. If you look at P5 and what he's been able to do this season, while he's not averaging over 20 points a game like he did in his rookie season, the volume, the quality, and the efficiency in the shots that he's taking, they've all gone up through the roof in his sophomore season. He got off to an extremely slow start throughout the first 4 to 5 games of the season, wasn't scoring the ball all that well, wasn't hitting his shots, and really was just struggling outside of the gates, but he really has picked things up, and he's been a catalyst for why the Orlando Magic have been stellar throughout the beginning parts of this season. Banchero's now shooting 49% from the field and 44% from behind the arc. The spacing and the quality shots in which he's taking has been stellar. And with Franz Wagner, while he's had his inconsistent moments as well throughout the beginning parts of this season, him and Banchero are going to be the engine and the reason why the Orlando Magic are going to be so successful. He's done a great job of getting out in transition, playing that role, getting to the basket, and just being a Swiss Army knife. And Wagner's done a phenomenal job of being one of the best young wing players in the game of basketball. To me, 23 years of age and lower, this is the best young duo in the game of basketball. I don't think it's even close. And Banchero and Franz Wagner have been sensational for this Orlando Magic team so far this season. And I really have to hark back to the defense and the philosophy of this team that has been the backbone of this Orlando Magic team. It's not just Jalen Suggs. It's not just Jonathan Isaac. 2 guys that are making a very strong case to make an all-NBA defensive team this year. It is the entire team's identity. It's what they believe in, and they want to be a defensive-minded team first and foremost. The job that they've done on some of the best teams in the association, it has been superb and through the roof. Take a look at last night. The Boston Celtics scored 96 points, a season low for them. They scored 56 in the first half and a grand total of 40 points in that second half. 2 of the best young stars in the game of basketball, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they combined for 44 points on that Orlando Magic defense, and they've been doing this without Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter. This is one of the best young teams in the game of basketball, and I think Orlando has officially proved to the NBA world that this is going to be a team that's going to be contending in the Eastern Conference this year. This is going to be a top 4, top 5 team, especially once they get this team completely healthy. They get more chemistry and continuity going together, and this Orlando Magic team has officially arrived before our very eyes. And while the Orlando Magic's 6-game win streak has been extremely impressive, and you love to see the growth of this young team really buying into the culture, they do have a very tall task and tough task in front of them in the month of December with a lot of tough opponents. They're going to be seeing the Boston Celtics 2 more times, and also the Philadelphia 76ers, some of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Magic fans, NBA fans, please let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What have you guys made of Orlando's start to this season, and what are your expectations for them moving forward as the season progresses? Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Orlando Magic content that we do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me, Brett James, and Orlando Magic HQ on all of our socials, especially on Twitter. We're both very active and we're on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below. But Magic fans, thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Hope to catch you guys tomorrow at the Amway Center for the Charlotte Hornets game. And like always, Let's go Magic.